I want to bring in Congressman Khanna. He's a Democrat from the state of California and the deputy whip of the House Progressive Caucus. Congressman, everybody right now is talking about inflation. It's at the grocery store. It's at the gas pump. What is your take on this argument that don't scrap the human infrastructure bill, but put it on pause, put another $1.5 trillion in spending on pause until you tackle the problem at hand, which is inflation?
Well, first, of course, inflation is real. I'm back home. The prices have gone up at the gas pump. I was at the grocery store. Beef costs more, milk costs more. So we have to acknowledge the problem. But we also have to listen to the economists. Larry Summers, who predicted inflation, says it's nonsense that you shouldn't be investing in the future and the productive capacity. Paul Krugman has a great article in the New York Times today saying that when there was inflation from 1946 to 1948, we still made productive investments. And the president's plan, actually, as 17 Nobel laureates have said, would ease inflationary pressure by getting people back into the workforce, increasing the supply of goods. So we have to listen to the economists.
I'm with you. Listen, I love listening to economists. I love listening to Nobel laureates. But your average voter doesn't. They are not thinking about Larry Summers or Paul Krugman. And Republicans are going to seize on this moment, point the finger at Democrats for the inflation situation and say more spending is only going to hurt you. How do you counter that argument? Because I will tell you, to say to your constituents, listen to Paul Krugman, that's not going to solve anything.
Well, we argue with facts. Here's what I say to my constituents. What are the costs that you're facing? And they'll say, well, medical costs. Well, guess what the president's plan would do? It would have Medicare negotiate, which would bring down Medicare costs. What are the other costs? Well, they're saying the costs of gas. I have said, let's have the president tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That would bring down the cost of gas. What about the costs associated with food and restaurants? Let's have more people work so we can produce more. Well, paid family leave would do that. Providing child care would do that. So, yes, it's backed by economic science because Democrats actually listen to economists, but it's also backed by common sense.
Right now, we are no longer seeing the two bills linked. The president wants to side the hard infrastructure bill on Monday. And you do have some centrist colleagues who, even before we got the inflation numbers, they wanted to at least put a temporary hold on passing the human infrastructure. Right now, what leverage do you have? What can you use to move this forward?
This is what the American people want, that the American people are asking us to make sure that we have child care so that women can return to the workforce, so we can increase the labor supply, that the American people are saying we should have universal preschool in this country, that the American people are saying we shouldn't be paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs. And it's important, Stephanie, to understand this is spending over 10 years. It's not spending all in this year. And so, you know, this is what the president ran on. And I have no doubt, I'm excited he's going to sign this on Monday, the infrastructure bill. I have no doubt he's going to get the Build Back Better and that it's going to help with inflationary pressure.
I know you voted yes, but you are part of the Progressive Caucus. What is your take on some of your progressive colleagues voting against that hard infrastructure bill? When you talk about you want to move forward things that the American people want, the people in Michigan wanted clean water. And your progressive colleague voted against that.
Well, we have a Big Tent party, unlike the Republican Party, where they had 13 people vote yes, and now McCarthy is threatening to kick them off committees. On the Democratic Party, we actually respect dissent. We respect differences of opinions. None of my colleagues who voted against it are opposed to clean drinking water or opposed to investing in lead pipes. The bill had $15 billion. They wanted $40 billion. Now, I believe in the compromise and voting yes on it, but we need to respect that where they're coming from, and that's the difference between the Democratic and Republican Party. Democrats don't believe you kick off people from committees just because they don't vote with the party. Republicans apparently do.
And reminder, Republicans, they're A-OK with people in the Senate voting yes, just not the House. Congressman, always good to see you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Coming up.